So I had my handcuffs on me because I was getting ready to go to Baltimore. So I had him prone out on the ground, put the handcuffs on him, took him into custody, and of course then I was accused of only putting him in custody or doing what I did because he was black. Yeah. I'm like, you gotta be kidding. I said, the reason I'm doing this is because you come at me with a big knife. It's the sole reason.
So you felt threatened?
Oh my, yes. And that's the reason why I didn't send my dog, because I figured he was gonna cut her up. You know, when somebody just comes at you and raises that knife and says what he said, yeah, that's a problem.
So did he like directly or indirectly threaten you like with what he said?
See where that black car's at?
Yeah.
He looked in that car first. He looked in the car in front of it, immediately crossed the street. There was 2 cars in the rear parking spots there that he looked at. When he turned, I was walking across the street from that stop sign, straight across to this stop sign. I was walking across. When he turned, I noticed that knife in his hand. So I asked him, I said, well, what are you doing with that knife? And he immediately raises a knife and looks at me and says, mind your business, and starts walking straight at me. I'm like, oh, this ain't good. So I reached down and grabbed Zena's collar, and I told him, I said, you need to stop, or I'm gonna send the dog. So he kept coming. I told him again, I said, look, I'm gonna send the dog if you don't stop. He raises the knife and says, mind your business, for the second time. So at that point, he was already within like maybe 10, 15 feet, and that's when I pulled my firearm, because I wasn't sending my dog because I knew he was gonna cut her, and then I would have had to shoot him. So I was giving him one last chance to stop. Luckily, when I pulled my firearm, he actually stopped, and I had him drop the knife. I was on the phone with 911, and then I made him prone out on the ground.
To be clear, so the police at the scene, they didn't give you any indication that you would be receiving charges?
Nope, I didn't receive nothing. I actually had an officer walk me from the corner all the way up here to my house, checked my firearm, ran the serial number. They checked my permit, everything, didn't hear nothing from them. When I come outside the house, we had like dozens of people outside. By that time, they was letting the gentleman out of the police cruiser that was down there right in front of that black Mercedes. They were letting him out, and they took the cuffs off of him, and I asked the officer, I'm like, why are you letting him loose? He's like, well, I don't know, I have to go down and find out. So he goes down, we're standing up here, next thing you know, the guy walks free, the officers start leaving. There was 2 officers over here on the side, and the guy walks up to behind right where that little white car is and that little silver car. He's standing in between there because apparently he had a car sitting over here. So he's standing there, and so I'm thinking he's steadily just looking up here at me. So now he knows where I live. That's a problem. So he's up here looking at me. There's a girl that come from somewhere. They said that she come up the side street and she come over because supposedly he was here looking for his girlfriend who was here with another man. So she comes out, next thing you know, you see her fly up against the car. Cops come running over, tell him he can't do that, they need to take it someplace else. I'm like, that's not good, you know, in front of all these people. And, you know, and my crime was, and that happened on the 7th, my crime was I tried to get a hold of the police chief, you know, I finally sent him an email after several phone calls, couldn't get a hold of him. I sent him an email on the 12th, asked him if he knew what was going on, why they didn't charge the guy. He got back to me, told me that he was gonna have his patrol captain call me, get in touch with me. I got an email from the patrol captain telling me that, you know, he spoke with the supervisor on the scene, said that he spoke with the gentleman that had the knife, spoke with me, there was no threat. I sent him an email back on the 17th and said that was very incorrect. I told him there was a threat. I told him the whole situation, what happened, and then I received charges on the 20th.
Yeah, and he didn't respond after the last email?
After the one on the 17th, I never had no response back, haven't heard from anybody since. When I finally got his name, 2 days after I found my charges, I finally got his name. I went and filed charges, and the district court commissioner found probable cause to charge him with 1st-degree assault, 2nd-degree assault, and deadly weapon with intent to injure, which is the only thing I was after from the start. I don't know, at the time, I had no idea what this guy was doing with this knife. When he comes at me, that's an immediate threat. And then I find out afterwards that he was here looking for his girlfriend who was with another guy. I'm like, okay, that's even worse. Why did we not charge him when we found out that that's what he was here doing? He had the intent. This guy lives out off of Sharpsburg Pike. He come all the way to the West End of Hagerstown with the intent of doing something.